channel. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In this video I wanted to show you a short vlog from our weekend in Edinburgh. Pepe used to study and then he had lived in Edinburgh for long 3 years, so I lived in total for about a year and a half and he lived here for 3 years. We haven't been here for a while. In my case, I haven't been here for 5 years, so this vlog will be really about revisiting some of my favorite places and also experiencing the beautiful Christmassy atmosphere of Edinburgh. In my opinion, Edinburgh has one of the most beautiful Christmas markets in all the UK. So if you haven't been here already, I definitely recommend visiting, but if you don't have a chance or still considering your options, you can watch my vlog and see if you like it or not. So this video is definitely not a first-timer's guide to Edinburgh, but on this slide I have an overview of almost all the places that we have featured in this video, and lots of these places are some of our favorite spots in this beautiful city. In Edinburgh, we actually stayed in 2 different hotels. We stayed at the newly opened W Edinburgh. It literally opened like 3 or 4 weeks before we stayed there, so it was all brand new. Really pretty. And the best thing about this hotel is its rooftop terrace. I believe it's not only limited to the guests of the hotel. I think if you're visiting one of the restaurants of W, like Sushi Samba, you are able to go to the last floor and see this beautiful 360 panorama of the city. We were so lucky because it was so sunny and it just looked stunning. Some locals actually hated this hotel because it kind of ruined the skyline of the city, because it looks like a poop emoji, honestly. So let me know what you think, but I think it does. We started our walk today at the start of the Princess Street in front of the stunning Balmoral Hotel. Actually, this part of the Princess Street used to be kind of like neglected and abandoned for a while. There used to be a really dilapidated shopping mall back in 2015 when I was studying here, and then it was closed off, demolished, and they built a brand new, really nice shopping mall in St. James's Quarter, as well as some luxury flats that sell for like £1 million, which is absolutely insane. And they finally opened the W Hotel as well, the one which I just showed you before, the questionable addition to Edinburgh skyline. If you're visiting Edinburgh since the 17th of November until the 6th of January, you have a chance to visit the famous Edinburgh Christmas Market. It's mainly located around the Princess Street Gardens area in different parts. There is an east entrance and the west entrance, and there is also a little bit of a Christmas market around the end of George Street, but the Princess Street Gardens is the main part and the most crowded part as well. From the Princess Street, it's really easy to go to the famous Royal Mile. And from there, I recommended turning, walking a little bit, and entering the Victoria Street. This is my favorite street in Edinburgh. It's called Victoria Street, and it's a very unique street because it's not only curved, but it also has 2 levels. So you can technically take the steps up there. So here are the steps, you can see them, to the 2nd level and see the most stunning views of the street from the above. I definitely recommend going up there and seeing the street from the 2nd level. If you haven't tried Scottish food before, there is a restaurant called Hois, which is my favorite Scottish restaurant in Edinburgh. It has amazing set meals and it offers really good value for money. I recommend booking it in advance, as it tends to book out fairly quickly. If you're looking for a quick bite, I recommend a place called Oink. They do the best pulled pork sandwiches in Edinburgh. So if you eat meat, head there. It's amazing. It's also a chain, so you can find some other Oinks across Edinburgh. Besides Oink, there are plenty of other cafes. There are so many tiny shops, lots of independent shops, of course, boutiques. You can find lots of things on Victoria Street. There is also a Harry Potter shop, and I've seen people queuing in front of it. It gets really, really busy because of such a photogenic location. We reached a street called Grassmarket. Some of the most interesting, even historical pubs are located here, including this quirky smallest pub in Scotland. And if you walk a bit further, you can usually find the market on the weekends in the Grassmarket area. It's normally split into two parts, like a non-edible part where you can buy some jewelry, bags, scarves, and an edible part focusing more on kind of like baked goods. And there is always this super popular paella stall. It's been there forever, and it's really, really good. At the end of Grassmarket, you can find a really small street, which is hard to see, but once you see it and go up, you will find one of the most popular viewpoints of the Edinburgh Castle. You will always see tourists there trying to take a perfect shot. It's gotten very, very popular, and yeah, it's really close to Grassmarket. We walked for a couple more minutes and reached the quarter mile area. This area used to be probably the fanciest area of Edinburgh before the St James's Quarter was built. Now the flats in St James's Quarter are probably twice more expensive than in quarter mile. But in this area there are also lovely colleges like this one. Edinburgh Uni is just around the corner, and there are also lots of offices located in the quarter mile area. We were actually walking here to have a breakfast in a place called Thomas J. Walls. We hoped that it wouldn't be too busy, and it wasn't because the place is actually huge. You just need to order at the counter and then they will bring you your food. Coffee was good and the dishes were also really lovely. A little bit pricey, but everything is pricey in Edinburgh these days, so I guess it's a normal price. One of my favorite places is of course the university, and the park next to it, the Meadows and the Meadow Walk. I used to love walking here. I used to live just about 5 minutes away from here, so it was always lovely, and we are so lucky with the weather because it's not raining, even though it's of course freezing. So when you turn left from the Meadow Walk, you immediately get into the territory, the campus of the university, University of Edinburgh. I feel like I don't have any right to say university anymore because I haven't lived in Scotland for ages, and it might just sound as if I'm mocking the accent. But I used to love saying it, and I still say Edinburgh because that's how people in Scotland pronounce it. Edinburgh Uni actually has a souvenir shop. It's open on Saturdays and it's open during the work week as well. So we were heading there to get a little bit of merch. We absolutely have to get one for our Christmas tree. Oh, look at this one, that's so cool. In the end, we bought 2 scarves, a couple of stickers, and of course the Christmas bubble. That was the best acquisition ever. Bristol Square is unfortunately under reconstruction. We wanted to go to our university bar, the library bar, but it is closed. Instead, we headed back to the Meadow Walk and entered Söderberg, got some takeaway buns, they were lovely, and some hot chocolate as well, because it was really good for a walk outside. This large park is called the Meadows, and it's unofficially the park of the University of Edinburgh, but it's actually an open park for everyone. It's one of the biggest parks in the city, and whenever it gets a little bit warm and sunny, lots of people come here and start doing barbecues. It gets so busy, and it's so amazing, this place. Look who live here, there's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Which is cool. Nice views. This area of the city is called Marchmont. It's actually one of the nicest areas of Edinburgh to live. It's located on the opposite side of Meadows, south of the Old Town, still super close to the city centre. It has its own architectural style. You can see all these pointy rooftops, and yeah, it's a nice area to live. There are some coffee shops, but it's a very residential area at the same time. So if you're a tourist, I don't think there's anything for you to see.
Very pretty.
So pretty, this one. That's another part of Meadows called Brunsfeld Links. We used to live in this area, actually, in a street called Viewforth. Yeah, that's the street we used to live on. And there's a lovely little restaurant called Three Birds. We went there once, and it was really nice. Today would have been a really nice day to go up the Arthur Seat, because the views from there are incredible. But Pepe is a little bit sick, he's coughing, so even though it is not windy, because the worst time to go up there if it's windy, even in the city, but it's still going to be, I would say, very windy up there. If you have a chance, I definitely recommend going there. This part of Edinburgh is called Tallcross. When I used to study in Edinburgh, lots of my classmates lived in this area, and it's very close to the university. It takes around 10 to 15 minutes walking to get there. In Tallcross, very close to the Princess Street already, there is a pub called the Coy Picture House. It's a pub by the Wetherspoons, but it's definitely one of the most beautiful pubs in Edinburgh, if not in the entire UK, because it's a converted theatre and it's stunning. In the meantime, we reached the Princess Street again, this time the opposite part of the Princess Street, next to the Johnny Walker Experience. So the Princess Street is actually quite long, it's 0.7 miles long. It takes around 15 minutes to walk it all, but my favorite way to walk the Princess Street is actually to walk it from this part all the way towards Balmoral, because you get the most beautiful views of the castle on the right side, and also stunning views of the Balmoral Hotel, the Calton Hill, and all the beautiful places in the Old Town. Since we were just minutes away from our hotel, we just popped in, left some bags, and went to the Rooftop Terrace to see the sunset. It wasn't sunny, so it wasn't an actual sunset, but the views were stunning. I think it was the best light, and we were so lucky because it snowed the day before, so you can see the Pentlands covered by snow. Honestly, it was magical. In winter, it gets dark very early in Edinburgh. It might seem like it's very late, but it was actually 4:30 p.m. We went all the way to the Royal Mile to see it after dark, and the Royal Mile is probably the most touristy street in Edinburgh, and it's one of the most beautiful as well. Some people say the Royal Mile is the most beautiful one. In my opinion, it's Victoria Street, but I can appreciate the Royal Mile. It's amazing. I would not recommend the restaurants on the Royal Mile, but the pubs are actually quite good, and there are lots of souvenir shops, whiskey shops, and cashmere shops on the Royal Mile. In our case, we were actually heading to a very important place for us. We used to go there a lot as students. It's a chicken wing place called Wings. It's quite an institution in Edinburgh, to be honest. Lots of people come there to play board games, also lots of students come there, and they do lots of different sauces, and they have one of the spiciest sauces in the entire world, and they also have the Wall of Fame. Actually, Pepe's friend at the university times was from Mexico, and he was able to eat that spiciest sauce, and I think he's still on the Wall of Fame in Edinburgh. If you want to visit Wings, I recommend booking in advance, as sometimes it gets really busy. In the meantime, we got back to the Royal Mile. If you can only visit one attraction in Edinburgh, I recommend visiting the Real Mary King's Close. It's basically in an interactive tour that talks about the history of Edinburgh in the Middle Ages based on some crazy, scary stories and examples. I've visited it 3 times, and honestly, I would probably go the 4th time as well, but we didn't have time this time. It also needs to be booked in advance. Another place that I recommend visiting is called the Witchery by the Castle. It's a gorgeous hotel and an even more gorgeous restaurant. Still the most beautiful place I've ever been to, the most beautiful restaurant I've ever been to. I definitely recommend booking in advance. It's amazing. And we also saw a little bit of a light show in front of the castle. It's a temporary thing, so it's probably going to be over in January, but it looked pretty. But we unfortunately didn't go to the interactive exhibition inside. Where we did go was the Edinburgh Woolen Mill, located right next to the castle. It's a great place to buy souvenirs, especially wool and cashmere scarves. We got 2 cashmere scarves for £90 for both of them. Very close to the Woolen Mill is also the Scotch whiskey experience. We also been there once. It was really fun and was interesting to learn more about the production of whiskey. They also have a massive shop where you can buy pretty much any whiskey. At the end of the day, we went to a famous Edinburgh bar called Panda and Sons. It's a speakeasy, which requires a booking, and the cocktails were really nice. And finally, for dinner, we went to the food court of the St. James's shopping mall, located steps away from our hotel. They have, I think, 8 or 9 different stalls, different restaurants. They are all serving international food, but it was really good. A little bit pricey, but really delicious. Okay, so we actually moved to another hotel. So we moved from W to Sheraton, which is located on the 1 square, right in front of the castle and the Usher Hall. And it's time to go for breakfast. If you don't like crowds, then Sunday morning is the best time to explore Edinburgh for you, because it was around 10:30 a.m. and it was dead empty, which was nice to see because Saturday was extremely busy, especially the Christmas market. It wasn't even possible to get in there. Surprisingly, lots of cafes around were really busy. We went to a place called Korm Coffee. We got some takeaway coffees and 2 really tasty buns. So if you're heading to the direction of Dean Village, this place is on the way, and I definitely recommend stopping there and getting a coffee. So Dean Village, around 6 years ago, used to be a hidden gem in Edinburgh. It always used to be that pretty, but there were no people. But in the last few years, there were so many viral videos about this place on Instagram and TikToks. And of course, now you can imagine it's quite busy. And sometimes you even need to wait to take a picture on the bridge with the iconic view of the Dean Village. Overall, Dean Village is a residential area, so these houses are all inhabited. I don't think the residents love tourists too much because it used to be really quiet. Now it's not anymore, but it's still a super pretty area. I hope you can hear me well, but when I used to live in Edinburgh, my absolute favorite thing to do, well, one of my favorite things to do, used to be walking the walkway, the Waterleaf Walkway. It's just a really nice path that lays next to the River Lee. And my favorite bit, of course, is the Dean Village to Stockbridge bit, or vice versa, because Dean Village, where we were previously, has absolutely stunning views. It's just such a beautiful little village, and Stockbridge is also a very nice and upscale area of Edinburgh. Stockbridge is really fancy. I'm not sure what is fancier, Stockbridge or Marchmont, but I feel like Stockbridge is fancier. Every weekend there is a market similar to the one in Grassmarket, but this one is more focused on food. There are lots of things you can buy, from breads to different pies. to tea. Actually, every time we come to Edinburgh, we go to this market because only this place in the entire world sells Pepe's favorite tea from the independent brand called BT, and they have this heather tea that Pepe absolutely loves. So today wasn't an exception. We got a few packets of the tea from BT, and yeah, Pepe was really happy. Stockbridge also has a really nice high street. There are plenty of places, so I think residents of Stockbridge do not come to the city centre too often because they have everything in their area. We were initially planning to go to a pub called Scran and the Scully by Tom Kitchen. We visited it before and really liked it, but unfortunately there was no availability this time. So we hopped on a bus, even though it would have taken us around 50 minutes walking or probably 35 minutes by bus because it's a little bit slow, but we were a bit tired to walk. So we went to this place called Kora. It's also by Tom Kitchen, and if Scran and Scully is a pub, this one is more of a restaurant, kind of a fine dining one, or like classic dishes reimagined, and it was really, really good. My favorite dish was definitely the pumpkin cheesecake. It was out of this world. Even though that I previously mentioned that this trip is all about rediscovering the places we used to love as students, we actually explored a new place. So this restaurant, Kora, was new for us. We haven't been there before, and it was amazing. So if you're looking for a really nice brasserie which serves classics with a twist, something really delicious, this is a place to go. It is a little bit on a pricier side, so we paid around £110 with a service charge, but I can definitely recommend it because it was really, really good. Since it was our last evening in Edinburgh, we actually spent here 5 days, but we were working remotely for 3 of these days, so we haven't seen much and I haven't filmed much besides the Christmas market. We decided to walk around the area again. We decided to take a walk from the Tallcross to the castle and to Grassmarket, and actually it started snowing. It doesn't snow too often in Edinburgh. It's quite an unusual thing. Even though I have seen Edinburgh covered by snow, the snow melts really quickly. Even though it's such a northern city, it's strange. It usually rains here in the city, so it was lovely to see snow. It felt magical. On this positive note, I think it's time to say goodbye. Again, I'll just repeat myself. It's not really a first-timers video with the top attractions you need to visit in Edinburgh, but more of a kind of places you should add to your Edinburgh list based on the recommendations of someone who used to live in the city and loves it very much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and see you guys in the next video. Bye!